Councillor Sheldrake.
Thank you. I thought Councillor Cranston articulated it well. This has been around for a very, very long time. It's gone around and round and round.
How's it gone round and around and around? We've never been engaged around this. It's been already acknowledged. So how are we going round and around and around? Are you guys going round and around and around, even though you're only ever consulting yourselves?
I think of the pose going up in front of the museum where this council was here to make some conversation or decisions. And
again, with you've got your stuff and we want our stuff. It's not the same. You know, the memorials that we have don't talk about people who went over and slaughtered your ancestors. It's not the same for us to have po. And in fact, let's talk about those po. The po that you are talking about, just to provide some context, actually refer to our ancestors who went over to the Second World War and fought for the crown and fought for the treaty. They fought for our treaty to be honoured. The irony and the audacity that you would use that now as a part of a narrative to circumvent your treaty responsibilities. How disrespectful can you be to the memory of soldiers who sacrificed their lives as a measure of commitment to Te Treaty so that us, their mokopuna, wouldn't have to fight the same fights to get Te Treaty recognised, and you use their memorial in a narrative to circumvent your treaty responsibilities. The audacity. So yeah, it's not the same. You can't compare the boat that came here to kill our ancestors and a memorial to that boat as being anywhere near in the same league as a memorial to our ancestors who fought and died in the Second World War for you and for your crown, and so that you guys will honour Te Treaty. And on top of that, while we're talking about those po, it's not like those po were warmly received. Let's go back and have a look at what councillors were saying about them at the time. Well, here's one councillor who put in a report that called them an imposing and extensive encroachment into the park. The location and number of them and size is such that the nature of Kelvin Park amenity has been truly compromised. This councillor calls the po an insult to the intent to maintain the integrity of the park. Now, what councillor is it that wrote this report? Oh, Councillor Cranston. He reckons, oh well, I've been fine about you guys having what you need to have, so why should you get a say in what we want to put up?
I think you could go back out for consultation and be in no different place, whether it's a month, 2 months, 6 months. On that basis, I believe we're here in the governance role to lead.
You've been put in this position to represent, and that representation requires particular processes when there are issues of high public interest. Again, I've got to say, colonisation's an issue of high public interest, particularly for Māori.
I think there's been a lot of discussion and commentary around this. So I'm happy to record I support 3.
Well, as my darling father was fond of saying. Anyway, who's up next? Oh, Councillor Dowsing.
Thank you. It's been some great conversation around the table, and I think I've gone back and forth a little bit as it's gone around. My personal view is that these have always been represented poorly in the sense of the fact they're named replicas instead of being considered art. And it is the symbolism around art and the discussion and the topics that come from art that I think are important here. Whoa.
Again, it's not an art piece. It is a replica. It's a replica. You know, they're made in the image of the endeavour. It's not the same as just a regular art piece that talks about something germane and non-controversial. It's a visual reference to the boat that brought colonization here.
And it's around the fact that some people can oppose art constructively and others can appreciate it for the positive nature.
I mean, way to objectify people's mumai. Oh, you should just look at it like it's a piece of art. Put it in a case. I mean, it basically is the same argument as, oh, it's history, get over it. Pretty much, it's just taking an art angle. Oh, it's just art. You should just look at it objectively.
It doesn't necessarily mean the same to all people. I think we risk hearing a very verbal response to the desire not to have this art in place versus actual constructive feedback on where that should go. So I feel like the consultation would be not less valuable than potentially we want it to be, because it would be fraught with difficulty to get really sympathetic and concise feedback on it.
Consultation is not about how much you enjoy it. It's not about whether or not you think there's high quality in it. It is your treaty responsibility to engage with iwi, and as has been outlined, it's been failed multiple times in this process.
Because of the nature of art, I'm going to make my decision on that.
It's really not. It's not a vase and flowers. It's not a landscape painting. It's a replica of the endeavour.
And I think it's the right decision to erect these and allow them as the talking point that they are. I think it's a conversation starter, and it should be put out there that we've got this as part of our history and we should discuss it.
So this is a part of our history and we should discuss it. So therefore I'm saying we should not discuss it and just put it up.
Well, there's been a lot of conversation. Thank you so much for the constructive conversation of it. Division, yeah, there is a... Pardon? Yes, sorry, you can.
Whoa, late entry. Councillor Dunn, what's she got?
Thank you to everyone around the table for your contributions. First of all, I would like to acknowledge the people behind this project who have put in all the time and the effort. Thank you very much to everybody. Consultation, it's an interesting thing.
Consultation. It's an interesting thing. The treaty. What a rush.
And it can be very divisive. Consultation has occurred, and in a form that we just don't easily identify with. There was a Give a Little page that fundraised for this.
There was a Give a Little page, and because there were donations to the Give a Little page, that's consultation. I'm banking that that's never been tried at the Waitangi Tribunal before. There's a Give a Little page. That has to be like all the stuff that I've heard come out of this council, that is truly memorable. The time that a councillor said that a Give a Little page constitutes consultation, and that you don't have to consult with iwi because some white fellas ran a Give a Little page. Wow. Mind you, I guess if we're going to use Give a Little page as a consultative model, then your choice is to give money or not give money. And so if you count the people that gave money as being the ones that supported it, then you have to count the people that didn't give money as the ones who don't support it. So sure, let's do that. You're way outnumbered.
the community spoke and they gave with their money. So we have by default consulted on this issue. Sure, to a select group of people, but that is a form of consultation. This is part of our navigation history. We just commemorated 250 years of dual heritage, and that's what this represents. This is about the Endeavour being part of our history. I sit here with a Pākehā father and a Māori mother. It represents both sides of me and a lot of people throughout the whole region.
And again, you know, just speaking to your Pākehā heritage here, your Pākehā heritage is well looked after already in Aotearoa. You don't have to worry about feeling culturally displaced in Aotearoa as a white person. It can be comfortably reaffirmed every time you wake up and open your eyes.
I understand some people don't like it, and I respect that. The Endeavour is about positives and negatives, and I think we need to recognise both of them. And one of the main positives for me was that he brought the Tahitian navigator Tupaia to our shores, and he came on shore and met in Maituranga Uawa. So there's positives that come with this, not just negatives. So that the main thing for me is that this is about dual heritage and our history that fits with our navigations, which is what Tairāwhiti is about, which is why I moved to recommendation 3.